What's up guys, so Juan here from Impaktech, and today we're going to be installing a set of our Impaktech fully adjustable billet clip-ons on our 2022 Kawasaki ZX6R. Now this install is going to be specifically for the ZX6R, but if you follow along, it should make sense for any bike. There are a couple things that we need to go over though before we start this install. So our adjustable clip-ons are fully adjustable when it comes to height. You have 4 inches of adjustability, so they can be this far high or they can go all the way lower, as well as adjust from the bar where it can be positioned 7 degrees up, neutral, or 7 degrees down. All you gotta do is remove the bar, reinsert it, you have a straight bar, reinsert this, have a lower bar. But if you do plan on raising the riser, you are probably gonna have to use new brake lines that extend. So our friends over at StreetbikeSupply, they went ahead and sent us over some brake lines. These guys are super cool. They do like same day shipping and stuff. So if you do need brake lines, or if you're not sure if you need some, make sure to hit them up. We'll link all their information down below. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove the stock clip-ons from the bike. In order to do so here, you are going to have to remove the stock triple tree. On the 2022 ZX6R, it's going to be a 12mm bolt here. So get this removed and then we'll move on to the next step. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove these pinch bolts here, and these are gonna be 6mm Allens. Okay, so once you have these two 6mm loosened up, you're gonna go over here, and you're gonna do the exact same thing on this section. So we are gonna get 6 and get these loosened up. And all we're gonna do is loosen them, we're not gonna remove them. Now we're gonna loosen up this bolt, and they're both gonna be 5mm Allens. Okay, now that we have the clip-ons removed, we are gonna remove all the controls. On the left-hand side of the bike, begin removing your electronics with a Phillips screwdriver. Unloosen the bar end. It's going to be a 6mm Allen. You're going to remove this. This is going to be a 5mm Allen. You're going to remove this, and you're also going to use a Phillips to get the backing part. 3mm Allen. Now that the front assembly has been removed, we are going to grab the clamp. This is going to be a 50mm clamp for the ZX6R. For your bike, it's probably not going to be 50mm. On our website, we do have an option that says, I don't know what size to order. Just go ahead and enter your year, make, and model, and we'll figure it out, or you can give us a call. We're going to slide it right on the fork, and you want to make sure that right here where it starts to taper on the fork, that the clamp does not go below that. We're going to grab our 5mm bolts and our nylock nuts and start to tighten this. So you want to tighten the clamp, but not too much, so there's still a little bit of wiggle room, because we're still going to have to insert the riser and the bar. But yeah, it should be just like this. Okay, so now we have both the left and the right clamp on. Remember, we aren't going to tighten them. They have to be a little bit loose, and then we're going to reinsert the stock triple. So when you insert the top triple back, you want to make sure that it's seated at the original position it was. You could use a rubber mallet and kind of smack it in place, but yeah, it should be seated just like this. And once everything's seated in place, then we can start to reinsert the OEM nut here and start to tighten everything back. once this is seated in, we're gonna use a torque wrench. Make sure to set it to 58 foot-pounds of torque, and we are gonna go ahead and torque this down. So now we're gonna grab our 6mm Allen key, get these two bolts torqued down to 15 foot-pounds of torque. So on the clip-on risers, there is gonna be a left side and a right side. Make sure the orientation is correct. The engraving should always be facing just as shown. So there's a couple of different ways that you can approach the next step. For me, I already know what positioning I like my clip-ons. I like my clip-ons to be straight. I don't like them to be angled up or downwards, but some of you guys might. So what I do is before I insert the riser into the clip-on, I'm gonna go ahead and already use the provided 8mm big bolt and kind of tighten this down. If you're not sure what the adjustment for you or for your setup is gonna be like, you can go ahead and play with it. Remember, all you gotta do is just remove this, and you can have 8 degrees upwards, have it up. You can have 8 degrees downwards. So yeah, if you don't know what the setup is, what I would recommend you do first is go ahead and install the hammer. Okay, get the hammer installed, sit on the bike, and then kind of just test it out. But again, I like it straight, so we're gonna already go ahead and install it straight. Just gonna make the install a lot easier for me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten it a little bit, not too much. So if you get it wrong, you really don't have to worry about the next step as much, but if you did get it anodized black, please be careful. When you go ahead and insert the riser, I want you to just make sure these bolts are loose enough to where this slides in fairly easy. If it's kind of rough to slide in, you're gonna start to scratch it. We do have these little slots here, so you can count how many slots are showing. That way on the other side, it matches identical to the height. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just hold the clip on here from the bottom because it's not tightened, so I don't want it to smack my fork or something. So we're just gonna go ahead and let that line up here. And then get it here, and then yeah, at this point you can go ahead and sit on the bike and see if this is the adjustment you'd like. If you want it a little bit lower, all you gotta do is just lower it. So if you do plan on using the highest setting, you are gonna have to use some aftermarket brake lines. We personally don't sell any brake lines on our website, but you can always hit up our guy Mike over at StreetbikeSupply. We'll link his information down below. He can get you set up with some brake lines, especially if you're not sure if you need them or not. Give him a call and he'll help you out. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and probably get the adjustment to here, and then we're gonna start to tighten up the bolts, and then we'll sit on the bike and see if that's where I want it. Okay, so just for testing purposes, as you can see down here, I have 3 slots showing, so I'm just gonna mimic that on the other side to make sure they're both at the same height, and then I'm gonna sit on the bike and we'll see if this is the right fitment for me. Okay, so you're gonna wanna go ahead and just sit on the bike, pick an adjustment, stick to that, and if for some reason you want it a little bit higher, you want it a little bit lower, now's the time to adjust it. Once you find your specific preference for your riding style, then we can go ahead and start tightening every single nut and bolt. Now that we figured out the ideal positioning for the clip-ons, I'm gonna have it just like this. Go ahead and start putting on your easy pull clutch lever. We're gonna be using our easy pull clutch lever, and we can go ahead and just start assembling the throttle. And then yeah, if you're gonna be running a rear handbrake setup, we can go ahead and apply that as well. And then again, Mike over at StreetbikeSupply, you can buy all that stuff from him. adjustable Impaktech clip-ons on, you can kind of see how it's molded onto the bike. You can see the clamp is on the fork, you have the riser, you have the bar, our easy pull clutch lever, we have a Magura rear handbrake setup, and then on the opposite side we stayed with the stock ZX6R front brake. But yeah, as you can see, it's a lot higher now than the stock position would be, and if for some reason I want it back to the OEM position, then I can just easily unscrew all the bolts, readjust it, and I'll be right back to like how the stock position is on the stock clip-ons.